which is unfortunate because I need to be doing shit all the time.
Yeah.
My name is Mikayla Clark. I'm 26 years old, and I've been tattooing now for maybe like 3.5 years at Nathan's Tattoos and Piercings. My first tattoo was an outline of a little fish that we colored in blue and gold. I have the tattoo on my leg here. I tattooed it on myself. Took maybe about 2.5 hours to do. Not only was it my first tattoo, but I was also using a pretty heavy machine. It was more of a traditional rotary machine with a tube and like a bar needle. That definitely contributed to why it took so long, just because the damn thing was so heavy. And I wasn't used to working with anything like that or drawing with anything that had quite a bit of weight to it. Honestly, regarding some setbacks getting into the industry, whether it's misogyny or otherwise, I got pretty lucky. Honestly, Nathan's, a lot of the piercers here and a lot of people who work here are women, especially young women. And I was lucky enough that all the people that wanted to teach me,
Really? I mean, this
if they didn't take me seriously, it's because everybody wants to get into tattooing. What makes you so special? What are you going to bring into the industry that makes me want to give a fuck about actually teaching you and tuning you into like some of the practices that we do here? Overcoming some of the challenges being a lady tattooer, honestly, it's totally a kill it with kindness type of thing, you know? Obviously, I'm going to do a permanent service on somebody, so usually as soon as they find out I'm the one doing the tattoo and I'm the one that they have to be in this intimate setting with, they usually don't act up. They quit all the bullshit, you know, and they're very instantly on a good behavior. And it wasn't until I was 19, I was living in the Bay Area, I flew out down to LA for spring break to kick it with my friend, and I decided to get a tattoo from some dude on Instagram. He had an okay following or whatever. And I pulled up to this place in the fashion district. The guy was super unorganized, but it was clean, so I was down. And I got tattooed. It only took about 30 minutes or so. And he wasn't creepy or anything, but he was definitely a little weird. And I just thought to myself, I was like, if this guy could do it, I could totally do it. Like, how hard could it be? Boys do it. I made a time to come by like on a really busy Saturday in the summer, total midst of busy season. And I come over at like 1 o'clock. I just thought we were gonna like chat really quick, you know, but I come in, you know, it's a madhouse in here. There's like 10 people in the lobby. People are getting tattooed. There's a baby crying. He's mid piercing someone and he's like, Mikayla, how are you? And the phone started ringing and he was like, can you answer that? And I was like, yeah, I guess. So, you know, I answered the phone and I ended up working an 8-hour shift that day for free, mostly at the piercing counter. So it wasn't necessarily tattoo related, but I definitely got to see like how they were running the shop, you know, paperwork, interacting with clients. A lot of them couldn't even tell that I hadn't been working there, honestly. So it just felt like a really good fit. You know, as for people who want to get into the industry, especially people who aren't men, whether you're, you know, non-binary, a woman, you know, whatever, definitely do your research on maybe who and what kind of style you would like to do. You know, go in and get tattooed. That's going to be part of it. You know, there are a lot of people nowadays that are tattooers who maybe don't have any tattoos. Do what you want with your body, but, you know, for me, it's like, if you love it enough, like love it enough to get the tattoo. But I digress. You know, definitely do your research about what shop you're walking into. What's great about the industry now is that, yes, it is relatively oversaturated, but there are so many different types of people who are tattooing now. And you'll definitely be able to like, you know, find people that you connect with in your community who are tattooers, who are maybe lady tattooers, who are maybe gay tattooers, who are maybe non-binary tattooers, who are non-white tattooers, you know, because, you know, this industry is definitely like cis white male dominated. And, you know, potentially sometimes you might meet people who don't have your best interest in mind. And, you know, if you want it bad enough, it will come to you. It might take a few tries, but at the same time, like, it is such a lovely thing to have for yourself, you know. Like, after tattooing now for 3.5 years, it's something that no one can take away from me. It's a skill that no one can take away from me. You know, someone brought me up and brought me into the industry, but, you know, after his job was done, like, it was throwing me to the wolves, sink or swim, you know. That's kind of where that tattooing phrase comes from. And LA is a great place for that. You know, the Bay Area is a great place for that. New York, there are a lot of crazy ass tattooers over there. Texas too, you know, people are tattooing all over. And I think it's really awesome to see different tattooers who look all sorts of different ways.